welcome to Derby Debates. Today we're going to be discussing how easy it is to establish a business in Derby. Today I've got a panel of guests with me. If you'd all like to introduce yourself.
My name's Whetton. I'm an entrepreneur. I've set up several businesses in and around Derby over the last 10 years.
Perfect.
My name is Gamer. I'm a producer. I've been in Derby just for 2 years actually. I'm building a studio. He's one of my artists. Yeah, that's it.
Perfect.
It's Hundo. A rapper in Derby, not too into the business part of it, but working with my man as a producer, trying to build like a joint business sort of thing.
Perfect.
And I'm Javen. I'm a rapper. I go by the name of Mansa. I own a studio in Derby and I'm an artist as well. That's it.
Okay, fantastic. So guys, thank you for coming today. Basically today's discussion is really going to be about how you guys sort of establish a business in Derby. We're going to talk about premises, how easy it is to get premises, locations and where you find a lot of venues are actually in the best area. So as an example, the city centre is easy to find premises in the city centre. Is it further afield that you guys find that you end up establishing your businesses? So if we start with you, John, obviously you say you've run quite a few businesses. So when did you start and what was your first business you established?
My first main business was a game called football, which is basically football and pool combined. You stand on the table, you kick the white ball, you pot the reds and yellows, and then the winner pots the black at the end once they've potted all their colours. Never really needed any premises for that. We actually built outwards. We just took it to different football clubs, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham. So we had residency at Liverpool and Man City every home game.
Okay.
So
was that like a portable?
Yeah. So you stick it in the back of the van and take it to different events. But we also ran a UK Championships in 2015, which had a good turnout. It's got quite a few million views on YouTube, so that did well. But we never actually got around to setting up a actual venue to play. We actually used to hire two out to Jack's, which is on Babington Lane.
Okay.
They were generous enough to let us put some tables in there. I think they made some money from it. We made some money. So in terms of commercial entertainment wise, I'm not probably as clued up as these guys for like studios or producing. But I own care homes as well. But they're outside of Derby as well. One's in Burton, one's in Alfreton, and one's in Sheffield. Well, just on the outskirts of Sheffield. So kind of commercial property as well. But it's a little bit different to what these guys are doing.
Okay, well if we just talk about again just what everyone else has got on, and then we'll sort of come back and just sort of work out sort of what the difference was and what got you to actually venture outside of Derby with your care homes as an example. So obviously you say you've got a studio space, so is that a commercial property, is that in your own property? How it is?
It's not commercial property, say my own property at the moment. We're not even looking for premises because it's just like a home studio at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
In future I'll probably be looking to expand and get something bigger, and then probably looking to get in premises and expand and get to work with more people and probably there we'll be looking at it. But at the moment it's just a home studio, so we're working with basically areas in Derby at the moment.
Okay. And yourself, is your studio, is that a commercial property or is that from home? Or?
It's home properties in my garden.
Okay,
Yeah.
Fantastic. And again, have you been in a position where you've actually looked to source it to be anywhere else, or are you quite happy with?
No, I'm happy with where I am.
Yeah. Okay. And do you think if there was spaces in Derby, so as an example, if there was a block place of old studios, because I do find that it's not only you guys, I think most people I know that own a studio, it isn't in an actual commercial property, it's always in a home setting. So, I mean, sometimes, I know me personally, I wouldn't really want so many people always pass through a house. So if I had an opportunity to actually say, right, okay, the fees are low enough for me to actually establish somewhere, rent a room out in an area where then I'm not going to be told it can't be too noisy as an example, which is probably a problem you would get when you're trying to source a property. Because I know myself, I've worked in offices and I can rent an office quite cheaply, but I suppose for what you guys do, you might be limited to where you could actually rent, I suppose, which could affect you doing that. So do you think it'd be something, if it was more affordable, do you think you would actually open up to say, actually that would work better for me? Do you think you'd get more clients by doing
Yeah, for
that?
sure.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And what sort of areas do you think you would want to be based if there was a building that was focused solely for music, it was all soundproof and there was no complaints? Where
I'd
would you?
say it'd probably be better if it was like
City centre, but
Yeah,
I think that
yeah.
if I was to pick an area, I'd want it in that near the train station,
Yeah.
you know, for that bringing of artists.
Yeah.
Down as well, innit?
Yeah.
So like central for everyone to access, innit? So that
Yeah.
is central, definitely.
Yes.
Town, innit? Yeah.
Well, talking about that and with other people accessing Derby, we talk a lot about what's in Derby for people in Derby, but do you guys work with a lot of people that are, and are any of your clients actually outside of Derby? Do people actually travel to you guys, to your businesses to work for you?
That's what I work on really, because I'm not really the business part of it, I'm an artist in it, so I'm kind
Yeah.
of trying to just work with other artists and bring them to Derby and bring them to the
Okay.
studio where I go and bring them to the CD mix, the beats,
Yeah.
to that type of thing, innit?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not from Derby yet, so I'm from Italy. So yeah, I've like always worked with people from around the side. So
Yeah.
I keep working with people from abroad at the moment. I'm working with people from Germany and some guys from Australia. Is he extended?
Yeah, he's Australian, yeah,
Yeah.
he's Sydney, yeah.
Yeah, we're working.
So,
Well, yeah, that's what I do.
Okay, and yourself, do you work with people
Yeah,
outside
a lot
of
of
Derby?
people from outside like Burton
Okay.
and Nottingham they come down to the studio and obviously
Okay. So we are actually bringing people into the city, really, is what you're
Yeah.
saying. So you might not have a commercial property, but you are actually still able to bring clientele into
Yeah.
Derby, which I think, I don't know if you guys are all aware, John, you've probably experienced this yourself, but one of the biggest issues that a lot of people complain about is there's so many empty properties in Derby, but the Derby Council are always complaining that there's never enough traction or enough things to bring people outside of the city into the city. So as an example, we've not got like arenas for performance shows where, you know, we've probably all been to Manchester, Birmingham for big shows or whatever we've gone to watch. So I think it gets to a point where it's that if you guys are already bringing people from outside of the city, should we be accommodating you guys more, because you are doing what the city centre and the council are trying to achieve, really? I suppose that's something that
you're right, yeah.
kind of picks up on this today. So, but again, it comes down to what do you, I mean, John, so you've got a different type of business, so what started you looking outside of Derby with your care homes as an example?
It's good that you led on to that. So I've had a supported living company in Derby for 5 years, since 2017. Houses were in Derby, clients were in Derby, so it was a mild mental health company to get people from A, B to C kind of thing, and we're B. So they're going from underprivileged background or drug abuse, alcohol abuse, to a home where they can get some care support to then get them moved on. Now, we got up to 9 homes, so we had 9 properties in Derby, on 5 on a rent to rent and 4 were mine. So what we'd do is we'd rent the houses. My CIC, which is a community interest company, would rent the houses off a third party, and then we would then rent the houses to the council. The council would pay the housing benefits and look after them, and then we'd look after them, should I say. So my company was called Blueprints Care, and formerly it was known as Belfort Oak when we first set up. And what I noticed, or the reason why I've gone outside of Derby, is because the council were hard to work with. Derby City Council weren't the best to work with. And the reason for that is you've got a housing benefits team, you've got a care team, they're in the same place, but getting them to talk, getting them to cross information was absolutely ridiculous. So for me, working with Derbyshire County Council, Staffordshire, which is the Burton one, it's been far more transparent, easier to navigate, rather than speaking to somebody from housing, somebody from care, trying to get one to talk to the other, because at some points they had different addresses, so each client or resident would move somewhere, and they wouldn't even be aware of it, so the housing benefit wouldn't be aware of it, but we'd let housing benefit know, but they don't let the care team know. So it's, do you want me to do the whole thing? Do you want me to tell that person, tell everybody, even though the social worker knows, who works on the care side, wouldn't tell the housing team. And it needs to be fully dependent. If you're working from the same building, you only have to go upstairs or send an email. And this was people's lives. So it got to a point for me where it became dangerous to run a supported living company. This is people's mental health. It's mild mental health, but that can then escalate to further problems if this person isn't getting the support that they need because there's a lack of communication. That's a problem. So for me, I then moved outside of Derby, Staffordshire, Nottinghamshire, Derbyshire because there was just too much aggro with the council. Now, I don't know whether they know that it's a problem, but everybody outside of Derby not know, but seem to think Derby City Council aren't the best council to work with in terms of support, housing, and overall. So that's why I've moved outside of Derby. I would have loved to have stayed in Derby. I've always pushed business in Derby. I've always set all my business. I've stayed in Derby. I could have moved to London, Manchester, especially with the early days with my football freestyle. That's what I started as a professional football freestyler. So I could have easily moved to London, but Derby is nice and central. It's in the middle of everything that we need to get to. That's why I've based myself here, and that's why I want to stay here. But the council still have to pick up. They're in a good position. It's like right in the middle of the country. It's easy. So that's why I moved outside of Derby.
But it's interesting because I think the focus, from what I always hear from the Derby Council and with the whole city culture that they're trying to build Derby up now, and realistically they've just kind of pushed a good business out of Derby. And what's interesting is, as we said earlier, there's a lot of empty spaces in Derby. I mean, the Guildhall Market, if you're all aware of that, just completely empty. You've got so many empty shops, but it's interesting though, because we say we're probably not getting the support, but then I don't know if any of you have noticed, I think it was like a week ago, there was a post from the guy that owns Derbyan, and he actually is offering a free space in Derby City Centre for 6 weeks for a new local business. So what's your thoughts on that? Would you say that would be something you'd be interested in? Was anyone even aware of that? Or
I was not aware of that. So
That was a thing.
So I mean, that for me was kind of like, it's not even been advertised, so if you guys don't know about it, it's kind of who's going to be applying for that.
How was supposed to find that? Where did you find that? Where did you find that?
Yeah, it was on Derbyshire Live actually.
It's copyright.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. If you got something like that, you'd hope it would be available for everyone to see. But again, is that a good thing that we're actually moving in the direction where local businesses are actually going to be getting supported now? I mean, when you're starting a business, especially.
It's the better route for them to offer help to us now, more support, because supporters might with like nothing to it. They don't help us. We don't get nothing around it. You know what I mean?
And when you all started your business, was it all self-funded? I mean, John, when you started, was yours all self-funded?
Mine was,
Yeah, yours the same, Was yours all
everyone.
self-funded? Okay. And would any of you have ever approached like a bank or approached the council for support? Would you have ever thought that you could even do that?
No.
See, I wouldn't know how to take that
I
approach.
wouldn't even know how to start.
And would they even believe you?
And that's the other thing as well. Like,
Would they even believe you?
because they believe that, especially like for people like me, for example, if I went to them and said, I need money support to start a business, I don't think they're going to look at me and think I'm that guy that's trying to make a business. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how you approach that.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? But I think when we talk about businesses and when we talk about different setups, and I know you've mentioned that you've worked with people that are outside of Derby as well, when they're coming to your own private spaces, is that a shock to them, or is that something that's in every city? Do a lot of studios work from home in other cities as well?
I think it's quite a known thing, but most other cities I go to, there's quite a lot of like established studios.
Yeah.
So obviously we've got baby people, and that's probably like the only thing
Yeah.
we've actually got that's actually in a business.
Yeah.
Everyone else is
Industry
small
also,
studios,
yeah.
like self-made people, and everyone's invested into themselves to make a business. You get me? Other than that, I don't think there is any other big people, is there? Like studio-wise,
like
we're talking.
industry talking and also,
It's interesting because again, there's such a demand for it clearly, but then the spaces aren't being allowed.
I get messages every day from people at Derby and Derby, any studios. Like people from Derby don't know where the studios are, do you know what I mean? So it's not, you're right, like, there's not nothing there really, I'm not gonna lie.
And locating, I mean, John, you might be able to help on this one. I know it's a different kind of sector, but when you was looking for actual premises to do your support and your care, was there certain criteria, that was there certain buildings that you had to steer away from, or was there certain areas that you couldn't set up your business? Or
No, I think it was varied anyway. So we knew that there was going to be a variation of the people coming through. So we had houses in Elveston, Sinfin, more towards town, and different areas. And the reason we did that was so that we did have a variety. So we never actually had a problem in getting the properties. It was more a case of, right, you've got the property. Once their care plan and package is all set up, it was the housing benefit and the care talking to each other. That was the biggest issue. And I've never struggled in getting property, and that was I say 3 years ago. I know the property is a lot different now, and my focus has been away from that. So I can only give my opinion on what it was like.
Yeah.
So if anybody from Derby City Council are looking and saying, well, actually it's like this and this, I am talking, 2-3 years ago, before the pandemic, when I was looking at houses, when I was working with the council, they may have had time now to improve. I know I put my words across and upset a lot of people. Whenever I've had an opinion, I've always said, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. Whether they looked at me and thought, oh, he's just a kid, he doesn't really know what is, because that's all I ever used to get was when any business that I've been in, football, clothing, jewellery, entertainment, they've all just thought, well, he's a bit young, he shouldn't be really looking after people's lives or care or support, because what does he know? So hopefully some of the emails and meetings that I had previously have helped, but I kind of I've not turned my back on it, I had to go a different way because it was too annoying. That's why I've gone more down the elderly residential, and I've not got one in Derby because of my bad experience in Derby.
Kind of deterred you away from
it didn't make me think to myself, right, I'm going to buy a 30-bed care home in Derby and I'm going to fill it, because the first thing I thought was, I buy a 30-bed care home, it's empty, I've got to go to the council and say, hi, I'm back again. Can you fill this? And I didn't want that conversation. So there's homes that have come up in Burton, there's 2 that I'm looking at in Leicester now. Would I run a home in Derby? Yeah, of course I would. But I'd need a contact from Derby City Council to say, look, okay, cool, you open this home and we'll assist you, because that's what we got from Staffordshire, they helped. And that's what we've had from Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire over at the Alfreton one, because it's like Nottinghamshire, Derbyshire. And Derbyshire have been the best council that I've worked with over the last 5 years. So Derbyshire's cool, and the cut-off is weird as well, because it kind of goes to Sinfin, around Ettrick Driveway, there's a cut-off with Derbyshire County Council and Derby City Council. So
where you see the change of wheeler bins.
and it's that's dead weird as well. But I'd love to keep everything in Derby, because I'm Derby myself, and I want to build things in Derby. Even when the bingo place closed down, I was looking at that thinking, what could I do with that? Because I was at a point there where I could buy some more care homes, or I could do like an entertainment venue. You could do an urban entertainment venue, street entertainment venue, because around that area would be perfect for that, because it's absolutely the clientele.
And it's an entertainment area with the cinema, when the cinema was there, the bowling.
Exactly, so it would have been perfect. So I even looked at that, I think that was, the whole building was up for 85,000, I can't remember if it was per month or per year, I can't remember, it was expensive though, but something like that would have been perfect. So that's what I was looking for. And then I think there's a place that closed down, one of the bounce places, jump places closed down, and I thought, what could I do that was, because my background is urban, I'm football, freestyle, football, like I work with a lot of break dancers, that's my line. So I'd love to, now I did that, I've gone into more commercial stuff and the bigger side of things, helping people. I'd love to go back to then put some money into doing something urban, something a bit more street, something a bit more where I came from. Because me now, 10 years ago is completely different. The two is completely different. There's a different John from there to there. So I'd love to get back into getting some commercial property and seeing if we could do a studio. Can we do a big studio?
Well, that's the thing
a
as
real
well.
good big studio.
Well, that's it. I think there's so many people. I mean, again, obviously, both of you two here own a studio. There's many more people, I'm sure you guys are aware, of producers that again are doing exactly the same way you guys are doing it. You just question, why is everyone having to do it from home? Why isn't there those spaces? And I mean, I myself have been to places like Birmingham, and there's a studio where you can do, there's a massive videography studios where you can make really creative music videos, and you've got it all under one building. So right now, I think there's 1 or 2 dance studios.
I do something like that.
But we have got you've got Shaftesbury area, which is absolutely massive. You've got, like you say, the big buildings that become completely derelict, like the Showcase Cinema, and there's a lot of derelict buildings, like the Guildhall, as I say, that's not turned into anything.
Massive spaces as well, man.
Yeah.
You can do with that.
Yeah. It'd just be, I think it'd just be good if we had like something put forward, maybe, because I think the problem is, I mean, I speak to a lot of clubs as well, and a lot of their problem is licensing for certain events, and that's not necessarily about what they're serving or what their product is. It's more about what their clientele is they're bringing. Are the police worried about commotions or issues or anything surrounding so many people in a certain area? I mean, have any of you guys ever felt or been anywhere where you feel like, I definitely couldn't settle there, I don't feel that I'd even be taken seriously? Have you ever?
I've tried to do a show in London before, and they wouldn't even let me go, car. They wanted to do the whole background check. I had to give my whole real name, date of birth, and that. And I thought about it. I thought that's the reason I'm rapping under a name that's not known, so no one actually knows who I am. Like, the single cancelled and everything. So that is definitely a thing for that, especially for the music that I do. That not a lot of people can really be performing and doing things like that, to be honest.
So John, you mentioned one of your first startup businesses was doing the football, and I mean, again, that's going into the creative side, and you guys are all on the creative side. So do you think there's opportunities for freelance creatives in Derby to actually establish something? Because there isn't many places that I would say, right, that's a creative place, unless I'm looking at a college.
Yeah. See, when I was growing up basically practicing football tricks, there was no real place for me to go and practice. I remember one night, I used to train at night because I have an overactive brain. So I went and practiced at Pride Park. They've got like a perfect light, and it's undercover, but there's cameras. So every time I'd go there and practice, a security would come out, "What are you doing?" Obviously they can see on the CCTV that I'm not breaking anything, ruining anything. They'd come out and say, "You can't do that here," and I'm like, where do you want me to go? Like, I'm busy trying to, evolve, and all I'm doing is kicking a ball up and down. In the end, they banned me from going there, which was stupid because Pride Park's a football stadium. I wasn't kicking the ball about. I had nowhere else to go. Where else was I supposed to go? It was like 11, sometimes 12 o'clock at night. You can't go under a street light. It's dangerous. I live in Elveston, Allington. You don't really want to be walking around kicking a ball because people are just going to be like, well, they'll take it off you for a start. so I didn't want to lose my football. So where do you go? And then during the day, what can you do? Go to JJB, but you can't really go onto the pitch. It's DW now, but you can't really go onto the pitch because they're all booked out. They need to have somewhere that young adults, young people coming through that can do their thing. And to me, listening to these guys, that there's no studio like funded by the council or something funded by the council where young entrepreneurs or young young people can go and vent. Because at the end of the day, they're not going there to fight. They're not going there to do anything bad.
They're trying to build a career.
Yeah, they're trying to build something, and that's their vent, and that can stop them. If they've got somewhere to go and vent, they're not going to go out at night. Somebody's not going to go out at night and start a fight because they've already vent. They're chilled. They're calm. They can go on about their stuff. So, for me, listening to these guys say there's not a studio, that they should be able to use almost for free. I know nothing's free, but why is there not something funded? And for me, if Derby City Council are listening and watching, help people, people come through, because at the end of the day, the people coming through are the future, and if you want them to stay in Derby, you need to back them, because otherwise they're off to London, Manchester, or even down the road to Nottingham. Because Derby is just a little place. So you either back the people, you either back us. They didn't back me. I remember I won the UK Championships. I flew to Brazil to represent the UK, and I won on the first day. I won all 4 battles, so I was through to the finals, the top 16, and I lost in the top 16. I'd been doing it 2 years, so I started when I was 16. By 18, I was the best in the UK. And in the headline in Derby was, John couldn't keep you up to the final.
This is very
Where's the support in it?
I
was in Brazil.
That was the headline. So I was just like, listen, I've beat 4 of the top guys in the world. There's 52 of us from all different countries, every country you can think of. I got to the top 16 all filmed, everything was on Brazilian TV, it was getting millions of views. Obviously I'm scared, I'm nervous, it's my second ever competition, the first competition is the one that I won, and the headline was John couldn't keep you up to the final, and I was like, I've just beat everybody in the UK. I've just beat all these other people, all these 4 other countries.
It's big for Derby.
And they did nothing. They didn't. I came back. They didn't do a piece on what my experience was like.
Yeah.
I remember reading that, thinking, I need to get out of here.
Yeah, just straight away you just.
And I was just like, if you're not going to back me, somebody else will.
Yeah.
And all my work was always in London.
Yeah.
Which is, that's where the money is. That's where the jobs are. But if you're putting a piece out like that to a young adult that you're not going to support, that stayed with me for my whole freestyle career. I used to just think I hated Derby then. I hated it. And when they stopped me from practicing at Pride Park, and when they put that out, I was thinking, you guys are taking the piss.
Well, do you think that goes back to the point that you made about, there's certain venues where you're not going to be able to perform? I know you mentioned a London venue, but I mean, have you had the same experience trying to perform in a Derby venue?
See, I don't really know many venues in Derby too.
Did Derby even do events like that?
Yeah, like I've seen a few people do it, but it's like nothing like massive.
Yeah.
It'd just be like a little side thing where if only a few people know about it or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that where it was last night, it was at Margie's, innit?
Yeah.
I think not everyone knew about that. You know what I mean? Like, it was alright, but not everyone knew about that. It's not, they're big venues like that anyway. Like, I was saying to him the other day, like, what'd you come to Derby for? Like, say you're from like Manchester or something, what are you going to come to Derby for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's it. It's interesting, but like you say, like John said, if you feel like anything you do, you kind of being taken the opposite way, like it's not really a sense of achievement, and you're not going to really want to stay and find the support or even ask for the support, because you probably think the answer's going to be no anyway, don't you?
Yeah, it's scary when you're coming through. Even as an artist, entrepreneur, everything you're learning as you go. So these setbacks hurt.
Yeah.
And the council should be supporting you.
Yeah.
Derby should be supporting Derby people.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys? You might have seen the signs and you might have seen people talking about this City of Culture 2025. Does anyone want to comment on what they understand that to be? Does anyone actually know what?
No, even heard.
What's
No.
that?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what.
I think I've seen a sign, but I'm just probably don't know this.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's interesting because the whole point of the City of Culture, it's about basically raising funding to be able to put into Derby to help on the creative and the culture. So in a sense, it's like, okay, maybe they have seen that something needs to change, maybe we do need to create something. But I mean, if we were to win it and we were to get the funding, those funds are in control and being controlled by the Derby Council. So it's kind of like, what I mean,
Scary.
what would they actually do with that? And I mean, if you guys were invited to sit in a room, but again, an encouraging thing is there are artists that have been invited to sit with Adam Buss, who's heading it up. There are people, Anders Dobbs has been asked to collaborate with them and help them promote it. So it is encouraging that they are actually wanting to hear your guys' voices. So I'm hoping that that's probably going to push in the right direction. So, but again, if you was invited to a meeting with these guys, which hopefully if we do win it, we get some bidding, and you were able to actually say, what do we need in Derby? I mean, we'll go just round the table. What would your key project that you'd want them to put the money into be?
Probably like concerts and stuff, performing.
So like an arena, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same.
Yeah.
Like there's like a lack of events in Derby
Yeah.
because no one gets to showcase what they've got. It's either you make it or you don't on a video, and you gotta hope you make it.
Yeah.
That's it.
True,
You don't
I'd agree with that as well, but even like Dancer Way said, like places to train, and like, it's not just artists that seem to be struggling, places to
it should be
everyone.
everyone.
It seems to be everybody, but
Yeah.
they football, there's nowhere like that.
Yeah.
I think like it's mostly like you need a place where every artist like can link to like can share mindset and see what we're doing.
Yeah. So you can network as well. There's a
Yeah,
place
because
where you can
like
network.
bad people think leave or stop doing what they're doing because they don't have people pushing them and stuff, because like they are not inside of a community where like everybody's doing what they're
People feel like
doing.
it's working for them.
So they just feel
Yeah.
like they're not hard, or just feel like I'm doing this for nobody, but actually that's maybe somebody that
Yeah.
listening or want to help you. But like if you had a place, so I'm saying for producers, me by myself as a producer, if I'm working with somebody, I got ideas going myself. But like if there's bad and stuff producers, there's gonna be way more ideas. What's gonna come out, it's not gonna come out from me, it's gonna come from us. It's gonna be way better what I will do. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's like when they group businesses together. So Derby's a great example. Like I feel like 90%, probably even more, of the businesses in Derby are not local run businesses. They're all big established businesses. They're franchises. So I think, again, when we're asking for a unit where we can actually have these small businesses all under one roof, so they can share custom, they can share experiences.
Imagine having a big venue where you have, I don't know, a studio, then you have a video maker side, someone takes photos, podcast
Do everything
side.
in one
You don't need to
go there, make a
outsource,
song.
everything's in there.
Yeah.
It's easy to get what you
Build
need.
one in like
whenever
3
you
hours.
need it.
Buildings, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've done it in like 3 hours. You got a whole video.
Yeah, exactly. You can literally just go literally this floor for that, this floor for that, and then
True.
walk out the
Yeah.
door and you've done. Yeah,
Done.
definitely. So we're talking a lot about the Derby City Council, and hopefully if we get this 2025 bid, it's all about the city culture. So it's all going to hopefully go to the creative side, which will be everything that you guys, obviously with your football done back in the day, again, something that you can actually see building that up with the music, with the photography. Hopefully it'll build all that into it. But do you think you guys get enough support from local people? Do you, are the customers that actually come to you guys, are they Derby? Do they support you? Do people reshare your pages? Do they actually encourage people to come along? Do you want to just go around the table and just say what support you probably get?
Yeah, I think it was a mix for me. Obviously, with football, it's everybody thinks they can play football or do football or do tricks. So there's always jealousy, but then there's always the other side of people thinking, oh, that's great, and they share it. I actually built football off the back of social media. We ended up doing a video with a lot of freestylers, and that got shared worldwide. It got about 30 million views.
Wow.
In total, in all, it went over 100 million views on all different platforms. That built football, that built the football pool side of my business. But in terms of help from Derby people, I think they do help. I think a stranger is more likely to help you than your friend, weirdly.
Yeah.
Your mate is always sharing like
You and your haters as well.
So I would say Derby people do help.
Yeah.
But it's the same. I mean, you'll see every business person, they always say, oh, my friend shared Kim Kardashian or whatever it may be, but they didn't share it. And they don't. And even to this day now, some of the business I've done, I feel like I deserve more props for what I've done. And my mate's like, oh my God, this guy's done this and this. I'm like, this person's not done as much as me. He's not worth as much as me. But you're bigging him up to me, to my face, but you never say to me, well done, John. You've done great. Well done.
Yeah.
But any stranger, they big up. So maybe on the flip side of that, somebody else's mate is bigging me up. So, but you only see it from your circle when your friends do it. So I have made a lot of friends, and I do get recognised in Derby from the football. So I always did appreciate the support from people in Derby. So I can't say that they didn't. But the whole of Derby, in terms of the council, the papers, they're the ones that should be doing more.
So you feel that you did have the local support at the time, but it was just more the authorities of Derby where you was lacking, really.
Yeah, because they could have easily helped with a venue or somewhere for me to practice, just anything. But they didn't, and hopefully, like you were saying, they've heard from people like me and heard from other people. And they're going to work on that over the next 5-10 years, because if you don't, nobody's going to give a shit about Derby. Yeah. People will be outside of Derby, Nottingham, Leicester. There's other places that people just won't want to stay here. And what you want is a good talent base. Don't get me wrong, we've had big people come from Derby, lots of big people. Yeah.
But then that's the word came from Derby. So
so are they still in Derby? Have they gone out? Exactly. And a lot of people evolve and move out of Derby. But you want to try and keep them people in, because they're the ones that are going to inspire the next generation and the next generation. And without them people, you're not going to inspire the next generation, because the next generation will see them like, oh wow, they're from Derby, but they've moved out of Derby. Yeah. So you don't want to lose the talent. Yeah, definitely. And what about yourself? Do you feel you've got the support from local Derby people then? Is that what keeps your business going?
I mean, I'll definitely disagree, but you say what you want to say first.
Yes, we've got a debate now.
I don't know, I would say yes, because when people come to the studio, I'll say they like the music, they will like, wow, they vibe with me, because I don't know, I call myself gamer because I'm just playing with it. I'm playing with it. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never studied music. I'm playing with it. Yeah. So if people are vibing, I'm happy in it. But I'm not thinking that actually there's really a lot of supporters out there. But mostly the artists that come, they like and they support, they share, they appreciate the art. It's absolutely nice.
Yeah, see, I'm thinking like every other city I go to, I get perfect treatment. Like, everyone treats so much better. But I feel like I might just say that because I'm from Derby. Because if I ask this question to my friend from Manchester, he'll say no one in Manchester supports me, but if I'm from Derby, they'll rate me.
Yeah.
But then I feel like Derby's definitely a place where people only want to support when it's popular to support. So while you're coming up, no one wants to share it.
Yeah.
As soon as you get a big piece, everyone's like, I know this guy. But you never shared you never knew me, you just gonna act like you do. That's what I feel like it is. But I don't know if that's just because we live here. I feel like everyone might say that in other cities, but I feel like if I even just go to Nottingham, I can progress so much easier just from being in Nottingham, studios, people around me. Like, everyone shows me a lot more love in other cities. Like, this is the least space I get shown love in it. Like, if anything, just get hate here, innit? But that might be just because people, I don't know, isn't it? Like, it might be just because we live here, and I feel like people in London will say the same thing, people in Manchester will say the same thing. Like, it must just be, because I feel like a small-minded place, innit? So.
Yeah, it's a small city, isn't it? So obviously, like, in small cities, like, people that grow up with you have a tough time accepting that you are.
Yeah, but because it's small, I feel like that should help. Because it's small, like, the whole city pretty much knows everybody. Do you feel me? So everyone should be supported.
Like,
people will see it, scroll past it, but when we do well, they're like, oh yeah, I know this guy years. Like,
no, the thing is, when everybody knows each other, everyone just like finds a reason to hate for no reason.
Yeah.
They'll just find anything to take the piss in it.
But like, I feel like it's just living there. I feel like overseas would say the same thing to be support. Yeah.
Depends what it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But the argument goes both ways.
Yeah.
It just depends on how much you like around the city and how like what people know about you around the city.
Yeah, and do you think then that as we go forward then, you're sort of saying that the support of Derby people or the lack of support of Derby people from when you said about the Telegraph article, when you said about people that generally just don't seem to be sharing.
You should want to support people. If you're from Derby, you should want to support people.
Yeah, and do you think that's what we need to encourage more?
Someone has a baby and something, and I see on everyone's Instagram story.
Yeah.
They don't care. Like, they don't even know if you shared it. So they don't even see your story. Like, it just don't make sense to me. Like, and it's like everyone wants to support once it's popular to support. That's I feel like what's.
I think what's key though is just making sure that we network and making sure that we're obviously all in the same room, because I mean I don't know about you guys around the table now, but have any of you guys even ever met each other before? Have you guys familiar with each other?
Yeah,
I've not met you, but I know these guys.
Yeah, I came across the Hundo.
Yeah.
I've not, but I'm kind of getting a bit older now, so these guys are coming through. So these are the guys that you should be supporting, really.
Exactly.
Like, one thing I would say is that the easiest way for Derby City Council to do it, or the council or whoever it would be, is to get a venue, fund it, get people like Kid Karam, Eyes, Tim Sheaf is from Derby, pull in other people that are from Derby, Jack O'Connell. There's some big names in Derby that have left Derby. In fact, Karen's still here, but get them all in one place, and then one night a week, get one of them come in and teach people how to dance, how to play football, how to do free running, how to sing, how to rap, how to produce, because you can do one night a week easily on all different genres of urban street entertainment. That way, a lot of the people are then channeling their energy onto the street elsewhere. So it's going to be harder for the police, because there's people all over Derby channeling their energy into whether it be knives, fighting, gangs. Whereas you could get some of them individuals into one place. It's all in under one roof, and you can man it a lot easier rather than it being on the street. Whereas it's going to be cheaper for you to run that than police the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think now as well, a lot of the work we were talking about from a business aspect here, and it's kind of like, as much as you've got an artist, your business is going to be to, have a producer there that's going to have his own studio set up, because without that you can't do what you need to do. So what it comes down to really is making sure that we're supporting all the industries within Derby and recognising that there's a big need and a big sort of hype around creatives at the minute. And what I'll finish on is an interesting point that none of you is probably aware of, or you might be. The Velodrome is probably one of the largest arena looking buildings that we've got in Derby, and I don't know if any of you knew, but the purpose of it being built, it can't actually be used for the purpose, because I think it's a few millimetres off for the actual for what it was actually made for. It's a few millimetres too short, so it can't actually be used. So what's interesting is, will they actually look at that? It's literally just used for being trained. So that's actually the perfect venue and the perfect location for performances, arenas. So let's hope that hopefully they are listening and they'll take that on board, and maybe that could be the next place for all the creatives, and it's right now all of the connecting motorways would be perfect. So I mean, hopefully we can change things, and again, that's a good example of we have got the space, we just need to use it.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. That'd be really nice.
Well, good luck with everything you guys are doing. It's really interesting to hear how you're all working, and I just wish you all the best, and hopefully stick together and we can hopefully support each other for the future. But thank you all for coming today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Lit, guys.